Patti Smith.
How are things?
Great. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here.
And congratulations. I saw you won something, but I can't remember what you won. But, but congratulations anyway.
You're very sweet to say that. Thank you very much. Congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
This is this. I went and saw it. I loved it. Your photos and these little artifacts that you've collected over the years. There's a real, there's a lot of death that's a part of this exhibit and a lot of the stuff that you've done, but it doesn't feel like it's about death in a way. It's just you've got this collection of stuff connected to other people's death.
Well, I think it's because so many people I love have died. I mean, I've lost in 4 years 4 of the most important men in my life, and then after my father, my mother, I've lost so many people that I've loved, and also so attached to great artists who were dead before I was born, and then friends of mine like Allen Ginsberg or William Burroughs, so many people, and I keep them close at hand. I don't think of all of these people. I know physically they aren't here, but they're a part of my daily life. Mm-hmm. You know, I sometimes, hear my friend Robert or Mapplethorpe or, my brother. My brother is always with me, spurring me on. In the
movie, this beautiful doc that you did, you talk about how the passing of your brother just made you a better person.
Yes. Yes, I said that because my brother was a better person than me. I lost my brother when he was 42. He had a bad heart, and I lost him a month after my husband. And when he died, a lot of his goodness, his openness, his supportive, a lot of his things that were his, I could feel within me. And he resonates so much that I feel just a better person for carrying him around with me.
Do you ever, I know.
Although I'm not as good looking. Somehow the good looks didn't come up, but...
Listen, and it would be inappropriate for me to disagree with you, but
no,
I disagree with you.
Go ahead. No, please.
You're Patti Smith. You're my. When people ask me in interviews, who's your girlfriend? I say Patti Smith.
Oh.
So that's sort of how it goes.
It's fine with me.
However, I know as. Well, listen, I have to be truthful, right? Everybody at home knows it, so you might as well know it. When you're in a moment where your contemporaries, your friends, are all ultimately considered heroes by successive generations, do you know that's happening when it's happening?
Sometimes, not always. I mean, sometimes people say to me, oh, I read your book, and it's like you act like you only hung out with famous people. Well, they weren't famous back then. I mean, they were struggling, or even Allen Ginsberg was struggling. I mean, he was beloved, but struggling. And, I hung out with Sam Shepard. He was making his way, and Jim Carroll was a starving poet. These people, they were my friends, and Robert, of course, struggling. And at that time, we just wanted to eat, My main concern when I was young, I don't care if I was sitting in a room with Janis Joplin or, any of these people that I met, was how I was going to get my next meal, And often I'd be in a room with a lot of famous people or at a party or something, and what was I doing? I had a paper bag, and I was putting food in it for later. So, my concerns were different.
Does the literal and the metaphorical hunger drive one's art? And I wonder then, when you don't have that, what?
No, I always have drive. I mean, now I have plenty of money to buy food. I don't need I mean, there were a lot of times.
Packed a bag for you in a green room, so just some stuff.
Tell us who you are.
Melissa.
Okay, Melissa, ask.
What made you decide to take a music career?
Well, it wasn't so much a music career, it was to enter in the field of rock and roll, because when I entered it in like '74, I really thought most rock and roll stunk. and I thought if somebody didn't get in there and start working, it was going to become a big business instead of a powerful force for us kids, myself included.
All right, all right.
Clever choice. Are you a reflective person? Look at this.
Yeah, that's me. That's a nice girl.
It's a nice girl. Natasha, that was your name? Your
They used to
nickname?
call me Natasha because I used to have very long, straight black hair, like on Bullwinkle.
All right, that makes sense. Oh, like you were a spy. There's a lot of activities you're into, bulletin board committee being one of them, football program committee. What were you doing there?
I drew the cover. You know.
That's what you did?
Yeah.
There are many things that we
Well,
would...
I was, also, I spurred my team on. I was very enthusiastic in school. I love school.
Do you think people would ever have considered you a class clown? Because in the class clowns, you're one of them.
Yep, I was. I was funny. When I was younger, one of the things that I really wanted to do, I never wanted to have a rock and roll band. I never thought of having a rock and roll band, but I used to daydream about taking over Johnny Carson's stint. I wanted to have like a show like that, and like talk and like tell stories and joke around and,
That's why, here's you and another talk show host. Watch this.
I have great respect from the people from which I learn moves from. I think of myself a lot of times as an illuminated apprentice, and these people are my masters, and I study from them. I've been studying Johnny Carson for several years. In fact, I had to study Johnny Carson for 12 years in order to get on your show. Tom, come on. Move it.
No, this is moving fine.
Go on. If you're on a talk show, sit in the talk show.
No,
Sit in the
you're
talk
so
show.
good. No, I like you so much. You stay there. Believe me, it's a tribute to you that I don't want to take over your gig.
Well, listen, you can have it. It would be all right. What do you learn from studying people like Carson?
Well, the best thing I learned from Johnny Carson was an ability to improvise and to spar, because when I started performing, I was not well loved. I mean, people were like, comb your hair, or, get back in the kitchen, or whatever they would
you
say.
had album covers with armpit hair, which is amazing, but at the time, people freaked out.
Yeah, people freaked out, but even before I recorded, I got a lot of people yelling at me, mostly to get off the stage. And so I always pulled from Johnny, because he's like a human parachute. He can bail out of any situation. And I always, was able to one-line them, to shut these guys up, mostly, truthfully, guys. But, by the end of the night, I would have people on my side because I had a lot of good one-liners. And I learned that from Johnny, not to be intimidated, not to fall apart or, feel like a lesser being, but, to pull out something, one-up them, pull out, if they think they're so cool, step back and lay something on them and be cooler. So.
What a real pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Patti Smith, everybody.